Oh, what's that? You say you're thinking of switching to Linux? Oh, hold on. Hold on, don't do it! Don't do it! Hi YouTube and welcome to my channel. My name is Patrick. Today we're going to talk about if you should switch to Linux from macOS. And that being said, let's dig right in. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the channel, my name is Patrick. I'm a cybersecurity engineer in the Midwest US. I've been using Linux since I was 15 years old, so 16 years now, and I've been a lifelong macOS user. So I have a lot of experience with both platforms, and so I think I'm in a good position to help you decide if you should switch to one or the other. So why did I switch to Linux from macOS? Well, one of the big things about it was ethics. I think that what the open source community stands for is worth supporting. I don't just run open source software, I also donate to open source projects. The idea here is that if everybody pitches in a little bit, we get a product just as polished and usable as the proprietary stuff. Doesn't always work that way. Every once in a while it does. But hey, it's the best we can do, and so we've got to try. Also, one thing that Linux has going for it over macOS is the container support. You straight up can't use Podman on macOS, but Docker works okay. I mean, it's Docker, and it's basically running a lightweight Linux virtual machine to do it. You may as well just use the native thing if you're going to be doing that, otherwise you don't really get the benefits of a container, at least performance-wise. Also, Linux has a more powerful commands line. So what I mean by that is, well, let me add this to it first. The macOS commands line and the Linux commands line on the surface are virtually identical. But once you scrape under the hood, you see stuff like macOS uses ZSH instead of bash. The Linux commands line is able to do more stuff than what you can do on the macOS commands line, regardless of if you have a package manager like Brewer. Also, one thing I really like about Linux is that the user interface is a lot less bloated and a lot more user-centric. So, you know, macOS has been around for 20 years, and it's picked up a lot of features over the last 20 years, and they've all kind of built up to create this snowball of a release that's just kind of tons of legacy ways of interacting with it piled on top of each other. It's really bloated. There's multiple multitasking things you can do. There's Stage Manager, there's floating windows, there's spaces, there's tiling windows now. I mean, how many ways to organize windows do you need? And the worst part is, none of them are even good. None of them are even good. When compared to Windows tiling support, it's much better. You can achieve something similar to Windows tiling support on Linux very easily. You can even take it a step further and use a tiling window manager, which is what I do. I'm using Sway, and it allows me to have all of my applications tiled across my screen, so I'm using the exact number of pixels I have available for a practical purpose. It's really nice, you should try it. And to do that, you should switch to Linux. Alright, so everything's all happy, bunnies dancing, rainbows in the forest, right? Not quite. There are some drawbacks, serious drawbacks, that you need to consider. So first of all, there's a steep learning curve. With macOS, you can make your way up to being a sophisticated power user in a number of months. It would take much longer to do that with Linux in general, maybe with just one distribution, but Linux in general has so many variants that it would take probably a lifetime to master all of them. So really, you're going to have to make some decisions that are going to influence your journey very early on, specifically your distribution and desktop environment of choice. I think those are pretty serious considerations that you should do research on before you blindly jump in, and we're going to talk a little bit more about prepping for jumping in here in just a minute. But yeah, you're getting a steep learning curve, and there's compatibility limitations, right? So if you're using a Mac, you're probably used to this. Not everything works on macOS. Not every USB you plug in works. Not every piece of software you want can install. Same thing going on with Linux, except it's worse. So, with Linux, if you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, yes, the most popular type of graphics card, you're going to have a more difficult time than you would otherwise. This is unavoidable. This is not Linux's fault. This is not the fault of the developers. It's just the way it is. It's a downside. I'm not trying to slight anybody because of it, but it is a negative impression. So yeah, you're going to have hardware compatibility and software compatibility to worry about. So what I would do is write down everything that you use your computer with, like every mouse and keyboard screen and everything, and just Google it and make sure they work on Linux. I mean, that's probably overkill, but my goal here is to give you the best first impression possible. So look out for more tips like this as we go along. Also, the support situation. So you can buy Linux from a company that will sell you a Linux box with professional support, like System76. But the thing is, these operations are very few and far between, and in all likelihood, the business person has an IT person who just installs Ubuntu on something and calls it a day. This kind of situation, in addition to the home usage of Linux, makes for a particular problem. See, with an Apple computer, you can say, damn, it doesn't work. Well, I guess I'll take it to the Apple store, and you walk out with a working computer. That's not really the case with any Linux businesses. They're all mail order, and yes, you can get very fast shipping, but it's not the same as being able to walk into a store same day and walk out with a working computer a couple hours later. So, but there is a bright side to this. The community support is in some ways better than the professional support that you get from big tech companies. What I mean by that is the community is more likely to give you a fast and accurate answer, and also you'll have people diving in deep to try to fix your issue, and you don't really get that with professional support. You know, they're probably paid by the hour and trying to stretch out your issue as long as they can. So there's some downsides, and there's also some things you're going to miss, like the iCloud integration. If you want iCloud integration, Linux is not going to have it. For me, that's a feature. I want my laptop to be completely separate from everything else. I like having that dividing line between devices. And of course I back everything up to a server in my living room and then up to the cloud. So I have good backups of everything, I just don't like cross-contaminating my devices. So Linux is really good for that, because you don't need an online account to create an account on Linux, which is the way it should be. Also, you're going to be missing the stuff like handoff between the Mac computer and the iPhone or iPad. Stuff like handoff, continuity, these creature comforts are going to be left in the dust when you move to Linux. Unfortunate, but true, you can recreate some of the functionality using something like KDE Connect, but I've found it's just too finicky, just not there for me. So here's the fun part. Is Linux right for you? Here's what you need to do. Write down everything that you need to use your computer for, and then figure out which Linux application allows you to do that thing. And then, on your Windows or Mac computer, install those applications, and then start using them. Verify by using them that you can do everything you need to do over the course of a few days, and once you have the applications figured out, then you can switch to Linux, and you're going to have a great time. Alternatively, you could shoot from the cuff and just blindly pick a popular distro, install it on your hardware, find out you can't do something, spend another 2 hours switching back to Windows. Like, it ends up being a rabbit hole, because then you end up switching again and again and again and again, and that's how distro hopping happens. But if you take a methodical approach to picking the right distribution for you, you can focus your energy and end up with a better end result. Okay, so now you've switched to Linux. Welcome. Something that you'll want to get used to is the community. Go to your community forums of the distribution or desktop environment you chose, and start getting familiar with some of the faces you're going to see. Lots of helpful people there, and you'll be glad to have introduced yourself should you run into any issues. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's all about getting something done. In reality, these computers are tools, and we use these tools to perform functions. At the end of the day, choose the right tool for the job. If you have something available on Windows, and you can't do it on Linux, then don't use Linux. If you can only do something on macOS or Windows and not Linux, then don't use Linux. It's that simple. The good part here is Linux is becoming better for a wider range of professions, and hopefully your profession is impacted and you're able to make the switch to Linux. But if it doesn't work for you, don't feel obligated to use it. It's an operating system, it's not a personality trait. So yeah, pick the right tool for the job, and pick the one that aligns with your values. Bye!